Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. But if you're new here, my name's Tyler and I do consistent content on all things related hockey in the AHL overall. And finally this trade finished. I did a video on it last night, thinking that, nothing in the trade is going to change. No players going to be added. Yep, of course, especially when I was out. I was out getting myself dinner and Pierre LeBrun had to drop the bomb on me that Colton Sceviour was part of this deal as well. So I'm redoing it. But as we all know now, Colton Sceviour and Michael Matheson from the Florida Panthers are being sent to the Pittsburgh Penguins in return for Patric Hornqvist. So that's what we're going to be discussing today. A breakdown of the trade. I'll have all the information for you up in just a second. My thoughts on this trade, who I think won this trade, what was the reason for the holdup, and what is next for these two teams going forward this offseason. All right, so as we see, of course, the biggest chip in this trade is Patric Hornqvist. We expected this trade to happen really earlier yesterday, in which Kevin Weeks originally broke it. Of course, Kevin Weeksy from NHL Network. Love the guy. He breaks trades from time to time, but the trade didn't go through right away. There was a thought process from someone through Pittsburgh that was thinking that Hornqvist was not able to get a hold of via phone to confirm the trade because he has a full no trade clause. And then there were also speculation, which seems to be true, that there was issues regarding, of course, insurance coverage regarding contractual situations, I think, on Florida's end, why anything's covered. So that all led to there being a halt, but in the end, this trade still prevails with Sceviour being a part of it this time. But of course, to the Pittsburgh Penguins, they get Michael Matheson, the 26-year-old left-handed defenseman, 6'2", 188 pounds, has a cap hit of $4.87 million for another 6 years. Remember when he signed that 8-year extension with Dale Talon just a couple years ago? Thank God the Florida Panthers have Bill Zito now as their new GM. I like him personally, but he was drafted in the first round back in 2012 by the Florida Panthers, and at first looked like an up-and-coming defenseman in the NHL, but since then really has not fared well, and that contract gets worse by the day, in my opinion. It has not looked great. His underlying numbers, especially his analytics, have not looked good at all. And while his giveaway takeaway ratio was significantly better this past season than the year prior, there still isn't a whole lot to love when it comes to Matheson. But getting on to Sceviour, Sceviour was really just thrown in here. He has 1 year left on his contract of a cap at $1.2 million. The 31-year-old winger, of course, has been in the NHL for a while, was drafted in the 4th round back in 2007. He's 6'1", 190 pounds, and this past season he had 16 points in 69 games, and Matheson had 20 points in 59 games. I'd like to make that clear. Matheson had 8 goals as well, and had 27 points in each of his previous 2 seasons over the past 3 years. And then when it comes to Sceviour, you really can't expect much from him besides a 20 to 25 point season tops. He's not going to get you any more than that. So really just a depth forward to have on your 4th line in your bottom 6 and nothing more, with a small cap hit, and then, like I said, is a UFA in a year. But getting on a Hornqvist, the biggest chip in this trade, of course, originally drafted in the 7th round back in 2005 by the Nashville Predators, has been a very solid goal scorer in the NHL for quite some time. Had 32 points in only 52 games this past year as he's dealt with injury, but he has been all throughout the lineup for the Penguins, of course. 17 goals, 15 assists for 32 total points. He had 37 points the year prior as well, and he has a cap of $5.3 million for 3 more years. The right winger is 5'11", 189 pounds, and he may be 33 years old, but he's definitely the best piece in this trade by far. So expanding a little bit more on this deal, Panthers fans have been saying when Zito first came into GM that the main thing they want to happen is see Matheson get dealt. And Zito did just that in a perfect fashion. This is very interesting now, because what is going to happen with the Panthers going forward, I will touch on that in a second. But Patric Hornqvist to the Panthers, a beautiful move, with the likelihood of both Hoffman and Dadonov hitting free agency. I think Dadonov may have a chance to stay with the Panthers because they can get him on a cheaper cap hit than Hoffman, but I think Hoffman is surely gone. I will do a video on him actually tomorrow, so make sure to stay tuned for that, guys. But I think overall this was a very good trade for the Panthers for Bill Zito's first deal as a GM. Looking like a stud. Seriously, Hornqvist might be 33 years old, but any Penguins and Preds fan will tell you just how great of a player he is. He's so hard to go up against. He gets in the net and gritty by far. He's a hard-nosed player, even though he's that big in size. He gets the shot off great. He will score in every which way in that offensive zone while he's either sniping it or getting right in front of the net for a great net front presence. He really does it all, and he's going to be crucial for this Panthers team that needs help on the winger and the offensive front overall, losing some key free agents this offseason. So bringing in a guy in Hornqvist and your top 9 anywhere in that offense, if you have him around the likes of Huberdeau and Barkov, good things are going to happen. He's a great glue guy, a placeholder that doesn't matter whichever line you put him on, he's going to do great things for you. But when it comes to the Pittsburgh Penguins, Matheson, yes, you have the advantage that he's 26, 27 years old, but that contract is not going to look great going down the road for sure. And Jim Rutherford has stated how he's going to continue to make plenty of moves this offseason, even with the likes of possibly going for Chris Tanev, Brandon Tanev's brother, of course. Tanev playing as a defenseman for the Vancouver Canucks, has been injury prone throughout his entire career, really like glass bones, but this past season he has been healthy, so I do give him that, but he doesn't have a good track record. But when it comes to Jim Rutherford, he just loves bringing in guys that he has familiarity with, or he feels could have a great transition and a change of scenery. I think he's under the mindset of how Justin Schultz was, of course, coming to the Pittsburgh Penguins originally, because I remember he's originally from the Oilers and things fared well in the beginning, not so much now. But I think Rutherford has that similar mindset with Matheson, and I don't care what anyone says. If you're having Matheson on your third pair line along with Jack Johnson, that is a crucial cap hit for no reason. There's no need to have that. So I'm sorry, Penguins fans. I know you're not going to enjoy this, what I'm about to say, but the Panthers obviously won this deal. Jim Rutherford is just trying to couple up with any which way and trying to keep this team competitive going forward, at least for another 2 years. If Evgeny Malkin's contract is up in 2 years, so see what happens there. But that is the idea, that they have a 2-year window until their Stanley Cup hopes are officially dead, it would seem. I'm not sure what's going to happen, but I do believe the Pittsburgh Penguins did not win this trade by any means. Sceviour just thrown in there to balance the cap even more. At first it looked like, oh, the Penguins would, be better in this deal, at least when it comes to cap it. No, they're not. There's no salary retained, of course, and they're bringing in Sceviour at a capital 1.2 mil. So in the end, they are actually being costed more than the Panthers are. It's just, it baffles me that Rutherford makes these kind of deals, truly. I think he's made some solid deals in the past, but it has been alarming over these past couple of years, to say the least, with Rutherford. I think he's just trying to figure out ways to help this team with some type of change of scenery for players, not as much for helping the team compete, but trying to make something happen because he knows his job will be at stake sooner rather than later. And I don't think things are getting better at this point in time. But that's just my personal opinion. But I would love to hear your thoughts, guys. Who do you think won this trade? I think there's a clear, obvious winner here. I think Patric Hornqvist will be a great addition to the Panthers, regardless of the fact that he is starting to get a little injury prone. I think it's going to bode them well to have a guy who also is the only NHL player in history, I believe, to be selected last in his draft back in 2005 in the 7th round. I forget, the 230th something selection, I believe, to win a Stanley Cup. He did that with the Penguins in back-to-back years. So that was very impressive. Hornqvist is a great player to have on your roster, is a great guy to have when you are competing. And the Panthers plan to make playoffs this next season. They're going to have a lot of different looks in this lineup, and I'm curious to see if they're going to go for any big fish this offseason, whether it be the likes of a Pietrangelo, which doesn't seem likely, or maybe offer sheet the likes of Matty Barzal, which I touched on in a video just a couple days ago. Make sure to check that out. Not saying it's going to happen, but there are reasons to believe why it could, is all I'm going to say. But I'll leave you with that, guys. Check out my comments. Make sure to comment down below all your thoughts regarding this trade. Check out my previous videos if you haven't. Thank you all so much for hitting that like and subscribe button. If you are new here, of course, we just passed 1K, so now help us reach 2K. We're going to get there sooner rather than later, and I have all of you lovely people to thank for it. But thank you all so much, guys. It means a lot. Check out my previous videos, comment down below, and I'll be back very, very soon.